Well, you know
more
what?
taxes for him.
Doctor, here's what I have said so much on the show for so long, that, if we were created by aliens, all the people, religions, man has always had to believe in some type of God, be it the god of the moon, god of the mountain, god of fire, god, whatever.
Right.
It would destroy everything, that we have believed in for the whole time that man has walked the earth, to find out, well, maybe our God was aliens.
Well, I mean, for people who go to church or temple or synagogue or mosque, that worship their beliefs, whatever, it might not be a good thing, especially if it came through an official government disclosure. They make this knowledge. It would create such a problem. It could trigger the next World War.
Oh, I think it would, because, what stops a lot of war is because of people believing in God. And to find out, maybe God, as we assume what God is not the God that we, it would, that would.
Well, in other words, there's a God, but whatever created us is not God.
Right.
To us, it would be, because if it took primitive hominids or proto-humans and then genetically eared them to produce Homo sapiens, that's not going to play well with most of the human race. It wouldn't do well at all. My guess is to be the most socially destabilizing information ever given to humans.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the same way if they came out and said, well, aliens and UFOs actually do exist and they're not here beneficial, to mankind, and they're not sending love orbs, watch out for Hunt's 57 sauce, because that's what they like on us. Hey, Doctor, I just want to say thank you for coming on. How can they find your website?
My website is www.barrytaff.com, and you'll see there's a lot of information.
Wow. Now, do you have what's the name of your book is going to be coming out, where they can kind of...
I can't really give the title because it could be stolen in a heartbeat, but it's going to my new books could create a lot of controversy. It's going to anger a lot of people.
Well, I'm sure we'll see it one of these days on your website.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, sir, thank you for coming on, and I want to apologize. I did not... it's not because I couldn't call you 22. I couldn't. We were in the middle of being on air, and... that was my fault. But I just, want to thank you for coming on.
Okay, it's my pleasure.
Okay, my friend. You take care.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, James, that was a good interview with Dr. Barry Taff. Makes you wonder, a lot.
It does, and I got to tell you, as a 10-year-old boy of seeing spirits and then seeing Barry Taff on TV, I never dreamed I'd get to talk to him someday, and here we are. I'm amazed. I'm happy as hell to be able to talk to him.
Well, that's why I gave you that little time to ask him a bunch of questions.
Yeah, there's very few people I can count on my hand that I really looked up to in the paranormal, and he was one of them because he was very scientific. And can you imagine 4,000 cases, all the bizarre stuff that man has seen?
Well, actually, over 4,500 of. Yeah, could you imagine, things go flying in the air? This tells you that something is going on. He also answered some questions like with the son I have that, is epileptic and has to take medicine, all the weird things that would happen with him when he was around the house. So that kind of fit in and now, gave me some closure of what was going on, too. But you know what? Tomorrow we got Bruce Maccabee on the show again. He's been on the show about 4 or 5 times. We're going to be talking about some new stuff with Bruce. I can't wait to get him on because you know what? He is one heck of a great guest. He's a godfather. There's not too many people you can say that, out there anymore on ufology. He has so much to say. And, last time he's on the show, he said he doesn't believe that the UFOs were ever gone through and, basically analyzed, put back together, and reproduced by our own people on our planet because we don't have the technology. So
again, Bruce, as a child in the 70s. He's another one in the UFO field I really looked up to. And it's a good point, because here's the thing. You can go back 150 years. You can send back a CD player with a CD in it, and you can back whatever. They don't have the technology to produce it back then. That's only 150 years. So imagine an alien craft that maybe, 10,000 years ahead of us, or even more. No, we don't have the technology.
Or 100,000 years or more. Yeah, but think of this. Go back to 1969 and let them, re-engineer a cell phone. It would never happen. The scientists would take it all apart, and they would not even know what each function of each IC chip is. They don't even have the capability to do it. So that tells me back in the 80s and 90s, when they were supposedly re-engineering these UFOs, I just don't believe some of the stories that some of these people say. Oh, yeah, we were re-engineering them and building them. I just don't believe it. But then on the other hand, maybe from that aspect, I don't buy it, but maybe we sold our soul to the devil. Our government, or world government, sold their soul to the devil. The devil is aliens. So we got technology and, engineering and everything we needed to build UFOs and craft like that. And maybe we've had a secret space force for years. And maybe some of these aliens are really friendly towards man, but they sure haven't done anything to help us. But boy, some of these cattle mutilations going on and never stopping, human mutilations, people disappearing, going on and on. What is happening?
Exactly. And here's the other thing about that. Whatever we sold our soul for technology, whatever technology they're going to give us to them is nothing. It'd be like us giving a match to an Indian 300 years ago. It's going to be, they're not going to give us something that we're going to turn on them. Let's put it like that. So it's whatever they're giving us, they're probably laughing like, yeah, we'll make a trade for you. Like, you can have this. They're probably thinking you can have it anyway. You're going to come up with it in a few years. But yeah, it's a win-win for them, and I believe a lose-lose for us.
Yeah, well, here's technology for laser weapons. Here's technology for this, and this, right? But then they have advanced technology that, the laser would be like you go out there when you're a kid with a cap gun versus somebody that has an actual gun. I mean, to face it, they're not going to give us the state-of-the-art technology because we were not intelligent enough even to comprehend whatever their actual technology is. They're giving us diagrams like a Model T and a Model A and saying, here, this is what it is, and we're, oh yeah, we want that. Well, great. Maybe they want to see us blow us up, ourselves up. Hey, they give us enough weapons and boost all this stuff up. Sometimes I wonder, like Germany, when they we're working on the nuclear bomb, atomic bomb, and the irradiated water, all that stuff. Well, maybe that wasn't even from them. Maybe it was from the aliens. The same way, supposedly, when they had, working on spacecraft, or supposedly had a couple of UFOs. We don't know. No. The problem is disinformation, and there's been so much of it going on for so many years that even if you told the truth, right? It's so much disinformation there, you wouldn't believe the truth anyway, because all we've been told is lies.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. Yeah, and it's hard to discern the truth because that's what they do. They try to make things cloudy. It's like playing the old pea in the shell game. You got to pick which one the pea's under, and the others you're going to lose.
Oh yeah. And again, a big shout out to all the truckers that are listening to the show. If you guys can do me a favor, when you go into a truck stop and you're talking to one of your buddies, tell them they should go to www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. You don't even have to use www. That's outdated. All you need to do is type in nightdreamstalkradio.com. That's nightdreamstalkradio.com. You'll come up to our website. It's updated every day. We cover, some strange stuff on it. We tell you who our guest is, and we cover a little bit now, as of this past Sunday, a little bit of information for truckers out there, too. Because, you know what? You're a big part of the show. We're all a big family here on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and I want to thank you for, listening and telling the people you have told us, because we have grown so big, and the only way it has grown and the only reason why it's grown is because of you guys. Big shout out to you guys.
Yeah, and also the truckers out there in the Northwest, especially in the I-5 corridor and all that, be careful of the high winds and the heavy snows in some of the upper elevations.
Yeah, well, I wish I knew what part of I-5, because it runs all the way from Washington all the way up through California. So is it in Oregon, California, or Washington? I'm going to have to do some research for tomorrow's show.
I do know that it was saying that most of the higher elevations was going to have more heavier snow, and the lower you go, there's going to be less snow and then there's going to be some rain, but there's going to be high winds with all that. So you got to watch for whiteouts too.
Yeah, what I hate about is when you've been saturated like we have for a week of heavy downpour. The bad part is if you got a lot of trees, I got a lot of cedar trees. And I think I got a couple, trees that should have been cut down. But here's the bad problem. The ground has been saturated for about a week. Heavy.
Oh.
So what happens when a windstorm comes? Oh, that's when you have to worry about one of these trees come crashing through your roof of your house.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if there's not a lot of soil, deep-wise, and there's a lot of granite or rock, because that means the roots are going more lateral than deep, so it doesn't have a real good hold. And then if you do get hit with some heavy snow, you're going to have some tree falls.
Yeah, another thing, too, is when you have a deep freeze for an extended period of time, and then when the freeze lets up, and then if you get a windstorm, you can kiss trees goodbye right and left. So, I got almost 2 acres of cedar trees, and every time it's a windstorm after a saturation of rain or a freezing period, I tell you what, I start biting my nails.
Oh, I bet you do. My goodness. Plus, you got your animals to take care of too. Oh
yeah. They're pretty good at running around. Again, to the truckers out there, if you were driving down a lonely road late at night and you saw something strange, like maybe somebody, looked like they're, out of kilter, like they're dressed like in the 50s or 60s, and they're thumbing a ride. And maybe you stopped and picked them up and you conversed with them for a while. But they're whatever they're talking about is like, wow, they're not talking about anything current. And then they vanish. I want to hear stories like that, or strange things like lights following you, UFOs and stuff like that. Have you picked up a hitchhiker and wondered if they are human? I don't know. You can get a hold of us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com, nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. I want to hear your stories. Hey, James, like all the nights when it's like a minute or two before we're out of time, I want to thank you for asking those questions to Dr. Barry Taff. He was such a great guest.
Oh, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity. That was a dream come true. Believe me, it was.
Oh, yeah. And to all the listeners, again, share us on Night Dreams Talk Radio, to your friends, on your media, on Twitter, Facebook, and all that stuff. Tell them about us. And again, I want to thank all you guys. Till tomorrow, and we have Bruce McAfee. Everybody have a great one, and take care.
Bye-bye.
You and I, living in the strangest of times, on my hill, watching while the cities rise from the cleft that we left when the sun beat it down into the valley. Living in the strangest of times, you and me, watching while the cities rise and fall like rain. Seems that I knew you before, but when